Gary, after we Evening, Mike.
Gary, how are you doing there?
Oh, Mike.
Ah,
Let's get him
Wait.
on.
gonna sit at the king's table
Yeah,
here?
exactly.
I know, this is very
What's up, you guys?
How's it going, man?
Good.
Kaylin, we're ready.
We are ready, okay. We are called to order at 5:31 PM. Item 2, public comments.
There's nobody here
There's
for public
nobody
comments. Yep. We're just not popular tonight, I guess.
Item number 3, consider approval of previous minutes from March 15th, 2021. If everyone has had a chance to go over those, or if not, we can take a couple minutes to refresh.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any opposed to approving the minutes as written? All right, motion passes to approve the minutes of March 15th, 2021. Item 4, discussion and possible action regarding Gary Good's request for special event funding.
Gary, do you want to approach the podium? This is ridiculously.
Official over here.
We're just pretentious tonight.
You have like a real shirt on and stuff.
Sorry. Gary, do you want to give us the overview of what you have planned this summer?
Well, the idea is to put on a concert in our back gardens, which kind of last Saturday gave us a really good idea of how it'll feel, and it was great. I mean, obviously it was built as an amphitheater, so there's not a bad spot anywhere in the grounds, whether you're seated or standing or roaming, you know. So we've never had more than 200, and I guess Saturday was our biggest crowd, probably. We've had large weddings, but I think that's probably the most people we've had back there, and I think we could have doubled that easy and still had room. So it's a great venue, and in the past we've had some other events. We've had an event for the city employees, families, and we'll probably be doing some more of those, although we have a whole list of sponsors that have been helping on those. This would be a musical concert for the city, for all ages, would be family, everything family friendly.
Okay.
And basically 7 to 10-ish in the evening. And depending on funds, we would, our goal would be to spend everything that we have. And I'm pretty good at that, because if I have an extra $100, I'll go get a face painter. And if I have another whatever, I'll go get something else. And so that's why on the bottom of that sheet where it's got the expenses, there's some flexibility there as to what might happen. So basically,
We're
that's
gonna charge for this?
no. There'll be no charge. Just it'll be a free concert for the town, and I just anticipate probably 300 or 400 people there, really.
Do you think 300 to 400 people want to see Edgar Cruz?
Will they want to see Edgar Cruz?
Yeah.
Edgar Cruz is a popular name. The entertainment is not going to draw the number of people that will come. If we're doing that, it would be a whole different philosophy. It's a happening in downtown Guthrie for the people who live here. So we're not needing the name to draw the people. Of course, me being an entertainment agent guy, I'm not going to bring something in that would embarrass me or the town.
Right.
But yeah.
Who's that?
Huh?
Who is that?
He's a flamenco guitar player
Yeah, he's been around up in the city
for
for
about
years.
most of my life.
Is that who's playing? I mean,
Well,
That's what it says on the bottom, yeah.
yeah,
I guess I'm missing.
that's more than likely.
Yeah, it's
it's
Edgar Cruz and the Brave Amigos.
the Brave Amigos. Again, if something happens and that can't work, then there's all kinds of other possibilities. Again, it's really the event. It's not going to be centered around any one particular thing. When we do have the definite confirmation on the talent, then of course that'll be what's happening, and then we'll put the festivities around that. So
Really, the draw is more of a small town community affair that just happened to have some music in the background.
well, to some people, but others, they'll come and they'll sit and they'll just watch the music. But there's when
So
you
the
get
music is I'm not trying to be a pain. I'm just
the music will be the center point
okay.
for sure.
Okay.
But my experience for something like this is that, let's say if you did a concert in Edmond or Oklahoma City with Edgar Cruz, and you sold tickets like he does at the Jazz Lab, they're a $15, $25 ticket. Those who come are going to sit and watch Edgar, and they're going to attention.
Right.
For a community event that everybody says, hey, let's go and hear the live music and have the evening at the Moon. Well, 25, 30% of them will be Edgar fans, and they'll sit and watch. The rest of them are going to be wandering around, visiting with friends, listening or not. But that won't matter because they'll be in the back, and
Right.
those who want to watch will be sitting in the front. So that's basically the idea. So
Based on how things were at the Pollard fundraiser, it worked out really nicely to have the people on the terrace steps who were just dialed in to the music. Then the chairs that were kind of behind that area, they were still listening to the music, but they were kind of like hanging out and just chilling in conversations. But they were still kind of listening to music. And behind them, you had folks who were just 100% socializing. So you got to have all three of those things in the same venue. So it was nice and flexible for however people wanted to enjoy the evening.
yeah, and that's a good description of it, really, because
Cool.
And you might talk a little bit, Gary, about, was that 2 years ago that you did the event for city employees? Probably.
it was the year before. I mean, the pandemic happened, and we didn't schedule one, so we had one the year before. So it would have been 2019.
And had a good turnout.
I mean, that was a fun event, and it was
Probably similar.
Right.
similar. The music wasn't on the stage where we will have it. We'll have it on the stage down where the stage used to be. Whereas with the city employees party, it was up on the ledge. And just a whole different feel, but similar to that, with just people coming and showing up and having a good time.
Cool.
I noticed here that in your expenses, you have nothing for publicity. How do you plan to promote this?
Posters, social media, we'll get with the newspaper and get something in the news leader, but mostly social media. That is pretty much what will work, I think. So.
Yeah.
But we'll have it all over town as far as the shops that we'll have posters, and whoever will put posters up, we'll have them. And hopefully we'll get Hancock, what's his first name?
Sean?
Yeah. Sean Hancock to help us with a poster and make something cool. And just, have a fun night. So,
Is there going to be any food or drink available?
have a
Food or drink?
Right now, that's not included. We could get a food truck, but I don't know yet. That's kind of in the works. It's also possible to have hot dogs or something inside. So there's lots of those issues that we'll be figuring out, as we get closer.
Gary, did you happen to hear how the food trucks did for
I
the
didn't,
Pollard? I didn't
actually.
either.
I didn't even get to walk out there once, actually. So
For the fundraiser for the Pollard, they had a couple of trucks there in front of the gate on Oklahoma. It's a good setup for food trucks, but I wasn't sure how many folks partook.
I haven't heard. I know the coffins was one of them. I don't know and I don't care.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what the other one was.
It was a barbecue truck I haven't had before.
Well, we would either have them where they were or down around our little circle down there to where it's more accessible and quicker to go out the door and grab food and come back in. So that's not decided yet exactly. If we have trucks, we'll be there or on Oklahoma Street. One or the other.
Any kind of an idea of when you want to hold this event?
I'm going to look at other things going on and make sure that we're not up on a red brick night or anything else that we would step on their toes. Main thing is just have things going on in town. I wouldn't do it the same night as Byron Birdline's playing. I'll just check all the other events, make sure that we don't step on anybody's toes.
I'm glad that the calendar is getting crowded enough to where you have to worry about it.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last year, you could have had the entire year to yourself.
no kidding. Any other questions?
Are we ready? Any more questions or comments for Mr. Good? Okay, all those in favor of the funding request of $2,500 for?
You need a motion first.
Oh,
You need a motion.
it's been a minute. Motion to approve the $2,500 request.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So no opposed? Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you very
Good, for your
much.
time.
Thanks, Gary.
Sounds like a great deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds fun.
Thanks.
I can remember when that amphitheater opened and they had plays, venues down there. It was really popular and
Well, I know he's been working hard on the gardens. Like, I think a lot of people will go just simply to be in the environment, regardless of kind of who's playing or what else, like, just to go see it. It's such a cool architectural place to just go be at.
no offense to Gary because he's done a wonderful job with the facility down there. But the city had a chance to buy that for $15,000 and didn't do it. Before your time.
Yeah, I was going to say, there wasn't any time recently.
I've been here too long and so, but they had it. That's neither here nor there now.
I've been to several events Gary's put on. If he's doing something, it'll be a
Well, it'll be
good
good.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to some of the things that they had with the, out at the Calvin Burgess's, I can't even think of the name of it now. When his dance band and stuff play, he puts on a good representation. He's
That-
good for us.
Gary's amphitheater is such a unique place in Oklahoma, really. And I think this will be a good way for a lot of folks to know it's there and to kind of appreciate what he has there. And hopefully that will incentivize some more events there. Because I think it's a really cool, unique spot.
It has a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
I actually did the first sighting for my wedding there.
It's really opening it up too. I've helped in the concerts that he's had. It's limited to 50 people because it's a catered dinner. It's an intimate concert feel to just 50 people. And he's going big. He's going, let's go outside and be together with more people
Right, right.
because we can do that now.
Okay, agenda item 5, staff comments.
Verla, you want to go first?
I hadn't thought about it.
Okay, I'll go first, and you can think about it.
Oh yeah, we have a meeting tonight. I should-
Yeah. Let's see. The Renaissance Fair, I think John, who put all that together, seemed really happy with the results of it. He estimated that he probably had about 3,500 both days combined. So that's attendees, vendors, performers. And the list of different kinds of performers he ended up with was pretty hilarious and a lot of fun. But he seemed pretty ecstatic with how it went off, especially for the first year. He's already got dates set for 2022, which is going to be June 11th and 12th. And he's moving it into June to get it a little bit farther away from Muskogee. Evidently, Muskogee has one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out they have this little thing over there.
Yeah,
It's 2 or 3 weekends long,
I have no idea.
It's quite a thing.
It's like nationally known.
Yeah. So
It's fine.
So he's hoping to poach some more vendors and performers from Muskogee since he's spacing it out a little bit more into a different time period. So
What weekend did you say next year?
June 11th and 12th, as long as I got that as a Saturday and Sunday. And so
So
whatever
that
that,
won't be, would that be Father's Day weekend of next year? Or is that the week before?
I never can remember when Father's Day is.
Because, well, that was, we didn't get to go because we had Mother's Day weekend plans. And
Yeah.
I just was curious how their turnout would be because so many people do travel to see their moms that weekend.
Yeah.
So,
I
There
talked,
was a astronomical amount of vehicles
vehicles?
there, of people.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
I asked John about the Mother's Day thing. He said there were an awful lot of mothers who were brought there.
Brought there.
But I think they did enjoy themselves.
but Father's Day in next year will be the 19th. So
Okay,
it won't have anything
cool.
to do, unless you do it for early Father's Day.
Let's see, that's all I had for Renaissance Fair. So in terms of like dates, events and dates coming up and into the future. If you haven't seen, Red Brick Nights there'll be 3 events. June 26th will be kind of like the Red Brick Nights and fireworks show combination this year. August 7th and September 4th. So those are the 3 Saturdays. And there's a possibility of, it all depends on sponsorship amounts that are raised this year. James Long was talking to me about maybe possibly trying to do something like late October as like an Oktoberfest type event in conjunction with Red Brick Nights. So not a typical Red Brick Nights event, but just kind of like another special event that can be added on to the season, but wouldn't be encroaching on Bluegrass Festival and that kind of stuff. So, Midwest Jeep Fest is September 4th. That'll be the same day as Red Brick Nights. So it's a good combination of bringing lots of folks into Vance, and then they can come into town that morning for the Jeep Fest and then stay all day and hit all the festivities downtown that evening. Let's see. I think last meeting we talked about this, but the G3 gravel bike race series will be this fall, September 26th, October 10th, and he moved the 3rd event to October 31st, so it'll be a spooky Halloween race that evening, I guess. Also, the Guthrie Wine Festival will be occurring on October 9th, which I think it'll be fun because that's homecoming weekend. So like folks, yeah, exactly. So yeah, when
Is
she
that the new reiteration of Guthrie Escape, or is it a completely new, different?
it's completely different. It's a different organizer, and she's been trying to put some events together in Guthrie for a while. She had some lined up last year when everything got destroyed by the world. But so this will be her first kind of big event in downtown Guthrie, and it'll be over. She's going to start it out with just one block over on Oklahoma, in between Wentz and Broad. That'll be kind of like where it's going to start for year 1, and then so kind of by Red Brick Nights, but just on the east side of that
Right.
T that's usually used. And so I think she's hoping to grow it from there. So yes, but that's the Saturday of homecoming. So folks can come in for homecoming on Friday, and then stay over and enjoy the wine festival the next day. We talked a little bit about the Pollard fundraiser this past weekend. That I think it really went really, really well. It was kind of just, it was cool to have a good crowd there. I think they raised a good amount of money, but also there were so many theater folks from not just the Pollard, but Oklahoma City who showed up to volunteer and just hang out. And it was fun to see all those theater people who haven't gotten to do anything in, over a year. And they just hugged each other a lot. That was nice to see. But they did announce that the Pollards, they announced the upcoming Pollard season. So I think August, was that whenever it starts?
So that last part.
Rolo's had already left.
Darlene,
But the season, they're going to have, I think I got the order wrong, but let's see. A couple of shows that they had scheduled for last time that they didn't get to do, they're going to do You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, Puffs, which is kind of like a takeoff of the Harry Potter world. So if you ever wondered what happened with the Hufflepuff house, this is the story of the Hufflepuff house.
I was wondering.
Yeah. They just can't call it anything like even close to names that are associated with Harry Potter, or they get sued.
But that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, that's part of the show, is like trying to come up with things that you know what it is, but you can't call it what it is.
Right.
So it's part of the shtick of the show. So yeah, Good Man, Charlie Brown, Puffs. At least like the last however many seasons, they tried to have a Halloween themed show. One year was Evil Dead. Another year, I can't remember now. But this year they're going to do Dracula.
Nice.
So those shows are always really well attended. Most of the other theaters don't try to do an entire run of a Halloween spooky themed performance. So they're going to do It's a Wonderful Life again as their Christmas show this year, which is, if you didn't get to go to that when they've done it before, it's kind of like a radio play but on stage. So it's super fun and just like delightfully wholesome, and yeah, folks loved it. And then the last one was a show called 39 Steps, which I don't know a single thing about, but that's what it's called, 39 Steps. Yes,
Do we
Google.
know, have they officially retired the Territorial Christmas Carol?
I haven't talked with Kara or Jared about that, but last time I talked with Jerome, they were still trying to kind of rewrite some things to make it not the same thing they had done 40 years in a row.
Right.
So kind of trying to make it fresh and change it up too, because the gentleman who had played Scrooge, James Ong, had played it for so many years. And then after he passed, it just felt super awkward to have someone else just jump into it. So I think they were just trying to find some way of making it fresh and not the same thing, and also finding some way of being respectful to that tradition of James and that role. So I don't know was the actual answer I should have started with, but I know they were.
Robert Thompson played it before James Ong for about 10 or 12 years.
I've seen that picture of him.
He was tremendous.
Yeah.
Is he still?
No, not knocking James Ong.
Oh, sure.
Robert Thompson really played the role well. He'd had some professional training before. In fact, he was the kind of a community development director here for a while with Guthrie.
Cool.
But he was very good.
So along with the 5-show season, they're also going to have something called the Pollard Performance Series, which is going to be some concerts they're going to have on the schedule. And I don't know where they're going to fit those in, but a couple of them that Kara mentioned were Shelley Phelps and the Storm, and another one was Heartbreak Hotel, An Evening with the King featuring Jimmy Dale Richardson. I assume that's like an Elvis impersonation
I would hope so.
thing. Yeah, either that or something else that's totally weird but sounds like an Elvis impersonation deal. But she says they'll have more of those kind of things to announce once they get them lined up. So they're the usual season of plays and musicals, but also a smaller season of kind of just concert events, which is different than what they've done in the past. That should be pretty fun to see how they integrate that kind of stuff. So
Those have been very popular popular in the past, the one they did with Patsy Cline.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
that More than one season, and then they did Beehive, and that was impersonating lots of great singers. So
Oh, yeah.
that
Folks
was
love
on
that
the
stuff.
weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Verla, that's all I got. You got
Okay, I
anything?
wrote down a couple things.
Okay. I gave you like 20 minutes, so.
Oh, man, we are fast.
More than enough time.
Okay. Well, I just mentioned National Travel and Tourism Week, which I didn't know was a thing, but it was a thing nationally, and also in our state, it was from the 2nd to the 8th. So Sunday through Saturday, and we had a presence there at the Oklahoma Tourism Information Visitor Center on 122nd and 935. And it was a joy to work with those people and be around all that enthusiasm about what's going on in Oklahoma. They really appreciated that I brought some musicians that we've had perform for us here in Guthrie, and they really added to the festiveness. And festiveness, is that right word?
Sure.
Okay, it is today.
Mhm.
And it was very good to be down there. Big win to work against that week, but the tent did not blow over. So, but I had a great spot inside the gift shop. So I found out that when people stand in line for their Pike Pass, they'll listen to me about Guthrie. So, and they all got stickers, so everybody.
Captured audience.
Yes.
Verla always finds a way.
Did you take their money while they're?
No,
No.
I didn't. No, just having fun. Meeting people from all over. I would say that the most I talked to were Edmond residents that don't know much about Guthrie, or they came here one time, or, yeah, I want to come again. So, of course, I was ready with all that to tell them about, and I'm sure I'll see them soon. So, it was a good turnout. But there were people from all over there passing through Oklahoma. And, oh, one really cool thing was that this man came in, I just need to mail this postcard, because he was traveling from somewhere by Las Vegas down to Fort Sill to see their daughter, I think that's at boot camp or whatever. And he had this postcard that had, I-40 across and then going down I-35. So he was marking where they had been, and he marked right here where he'd stopped to turn south. And it's just kind of neat that he trusted me to mail his postcard, which I mailed from Guthrie. So, postmark on it. And to just think about all the people that travel through here.
That's customer service. My goodness.
They pull over and they see the signs for Guthrie and they want to see what it's all about. Let's see, what else? Oh, the firefighters are coming. Did you know that? We are having the Oklahoma State Firefighters. Do they have the word retired in it?
No, association.
Association.
Yes.
And they're going to spend June 9 through 12 at the Dominion House, as far as having their meetings there and their dinners and banquets. And they're actually going to have, I believe, Byron platform up there too, maybe. And because I was sad that they were going to leave before Byron's show on the 12th. But no, they got him to come earlier in the week to their deal. And I've worked with the spouses activity who are in the meetings, and they're going to be here on Friday during the day, hopefully enjoying downtown Guthrie. But something that'd be cool that we all turn out for and cheer them on is a parade of, they don't call them just the fire trucks, what they call equipment?
That sounds good.
No, there was some other word to it.
Well, we can call it equipment.
Well, it wasn't just equipment, it was.
Apparatus?
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad we could clarify that on video.
Firefighters apparatus that they can bring with them to the conference. This is a very active group. They meet all the time, and they've chosen Guthrie to come, and Eric Harlow is the host. And of course, he's our guy right here in the city of Guthrie. So if we see these folks, just give them a big welcome that week of June 9 through 12, and maybe come out for the parade. It's at 5 p.m. So come out to see the parade and clap for them and go out to eat in one of our fine dining places.
It's a good sized convention. I think this is probably the biggest convention Guthrie's had since I've worked here. But also, they have this convention every year. This is the first time Guthrie will have hosted it in 100 years.
Wow. What's the estimated number of attendees?
It's over 300, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Yeah, at least. And then they have like a golf tournament
These are
and,
these are firefighters from all over the state
yes.
That are
coming.
retired.
They're,
They are retired, or I'm just like,
Both.
how many fire
Both.
stations are just empty this
Right.
weekend? Like,
I'm
and their
guessing,
apparatus is traveling down Main Street.
I'm guessing they probably have to draw straws on who gets to go to this conference so the whole state doesn't burn down.
Well, when they use that word apparatus, it made me think, you'll see some vintage. fire
Oh, that'll be
things.
cool.
Well,
Yeah.
there'll be some,
But I think there are quite a few
Collectors.
retirees that
Right.
attend. My son and I went camping down at Wichita Mountains a couple months ago, and the ranger who came by and took our camping fee, when I told him I was from Guthrie, he's like, "Oh, I'll be there for the Firefighters Convention." He's a retired firefighter, and he just collects fees to not be bored every day.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And just backing up from that day, on the 5th, the first Saturday of June, there's the antique and vintage market downtown that Art Aguilar has had several years in a row, except for last year.
Is it gonna be on Second Street still?
It will be on
Or
First,
First.
but it will be where the food court usually is during 89ers. So,
The other side, okay.
yeah, so from Oklahoma to Cleveland. Is that right? Or we did 2
Yes.
blocks?
It's just the one block, Oklahoma to Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's going to use the parking lot that Bank First has as well, so he can fill up the street and the parking lot.
Oh, cool.
And he's told me how anxious his vendors are to do this because they didn't get to last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes our store people if they want to be a vendor out there too, as well as people that come in just for that. And he said they're very enthusiastic that they get to do this, so it ought to be a really good one.
Um,
So if you get the flyers or if you need any to help spread the word, just let me know.
And Bluegrass Festival officially announced that they are having a Bluegrass Festival this year.
Nice.
So-
September 30th, October 1, 2. If you ever watched Andy Griffith, either now on reruns or when you were growing up, maybe, the Darling family, do you remember how they would come and pick and grin? Well, anyway, that's really the Dillards, a real live band from that time that Byron knew them in Hollywood and did some things with them. They're going to come and be in our Bluegrass Festival,
Oh, cool.
among others.
All right, any more staff comments?
I think I'm done.
Me
Okay.
too.
Item 6, board comments. I just had to share, speaking to kind of the excitement that even if you just are on Facebook and kind of following community pages, there definitely seems to be an excitement surrounding this summer, and the CDC officially saying, about masks and stuff. And then so how that affects CVB though, apparently there's a lot of already pre-bookings for hotels, Airbnbs, and B&Bs already happening. So, yay, we won't run out of money.
Yeah, for sure. And I think hotels did really well for the Renaissance Fair. So that was another event that's going to be a great one to have just for the hotel revenue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking to a local realtor this morning, and there was something that they're already booking for, the things are already getting sold out for. Maybe it was Bluegrass, something that we do. So,
I have a following
mhm.
that comes year after year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Any other board comments? Crickets? Okay.
Last year, Lazy E recruited a bunch of events from other states that really did well here, but also Little Britches, one of the rodeos, it's kind of like their flagship events throughout the year, is going to happen this year, and as part of that, they're going to park what could be a lot of campers and trailers down in the flats. They've done that once or twice before, but it was kind of like an introduction to that for them. Now they've realized that it works out really, really well. The National Finals Rodeo utilized the same space last summer, and they did quite a few, maybe 45 or 50 campers. But when folks camp down there for Lazy E events, they end up spending a lot of money downtown and restaurants and stuff. So the director from Little Britches thinks this will most definitely be their biggest year ever.
Oh, they doubled in contestants.
Yeah, it's going to be
Oh,
big.
wow.
Is that revenue for the city? I mean, if something, like, do we charge them a fee to camp there?
There is a daily fee that gets charged, and I don't know the details of. I think that's just enough to pay for the water and electricity that someone uses. So we'll probably break even on it. But it's a great amenity to provide to events, especially when they're going to spend a whole bunch of money in town while they're here. So.
Right.
And folks don't realize how much infrastructure is over there in the flats. There are so many electrical and water hookups that I think we could probably accommodate at least 300 campers for water and electricity, and a whole bunch more just for water. So it's a pretty unique spot that hardly any other community has. So the city has talked about, we need to do a better job of like recruiting and promoting that space for events more than it has been in the past, because it's a pretty unique spot with a lot of infrastructure that's already there. So why not use it? Sorry, that was another staff comment that snuck in there.
We've looked past that.
Yep.
All right,
Strike it
final
from the
call,
record.
board comments? If not, let's move on. Item 7, adjournment. I motion that, right?
You can if you want. You don't have to.
They can say without objection, if nobody objects,
Yeah,
we're
we
adjourned.
like
All right,
that.
without objection, we, yes, are